Do you ever feel like your own mind is your worst enemy, constantly replaying mistakes, worrying about a future that hasn't even happened, and getting lost in the spiral of what-ifs? That little voice in your head, the one that creates an endless loop of anxiety, it's exhausting. It tells us that if we just think about it long enough, we'll solve all our problems. But instead of giving us clarity, it just leaves us with more anxiety, self-doubt, and paralysis. Well, 2,000 years ago, one of the most powerful men in the world fought this exact same battle. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wasn't just some leader in a toga. He was a man who ruled through plagues, constant wars, and betrayals from his inner circle. He faced unimaginable pressure, and in his private journal, he wrote about his own struggles with stress and anxiety. He wasn't writing for fame or an audience. He was writing to himself. He was building a toolkit, a timeless cure for the suffering that overthinking causes. So today, we're going to unpack 6 of his most powerful strategies that you can use to reclaim your mind. So who was this guy really? Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome at the absolute peak of its power from 161 to 180 AD. But his time on the throne was anything but peaceful. He was dealing with near-constant war, a plague that killed millions, and even an attempted coup by one of his own generals. It's safe to say the man was under an incredible amount of stress. And yet, in the middle of all that chaos, he would sit down, probably in a cold military tent on the front lines, and just write. His personal writings, which we now know as the Meditations, are his private reflections. They're a guide on how to use Stoic philosophy to stay calm and do the right thing, even when the world is falling apart. He believed our thoughts create our reality, and that real strength doesn't come from controlling the world, but from controlling our own minds. He wrote, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it. Because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. That's the core of his entire philosophy. The power to find peace is already inside you. Alright, strategy number 1 is the foundation of everything, the dichotomy of control. This is the Stoic practice of drawing a hard line between what's in your power and what's not. Overthinking is almost always a sign that we're stressing out about things we have zero control over. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about what we worry about most. What other people think of us, if we'll get that promotion, or why someone hasn't texted us back. We can't control any of that. Our real circle of control is tiny. It's just our own thoughts, our judgments, and our actions. So here's how you use it. Imagine you just gave a big presentation at work. The overthinking brain kicks in immediately. Did they like it? Did my boss see that one mistake I made? What if they hated my ideas? You could lose days to this loop of anxiety. The Stoic approach is to pause and draw that line. You can't control your boss's reaction or what your colleagues think. Worrying about it is just burning energy. What can you control? How you feel about your own preparation. Did you work hard? Did you present with honesty? Can you send a follow-up email? Focus your energy there. When you let go of the uncontrollable, you starve the anxiety that comes with it and get back in the driver's seat. Strategy number 2 is realizing that events don't hurt us. Our judgment about the event is what causes the pain. Overthinking is basically the act of taking a neutral event and piling negative judgments on top of it until it feels like a catastrophe. The philosopher Epictetus, who was a huge influence on Marcus, said, "It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." Marcus took this idea and ran with it, writing, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This isn't about denying reality. It's about seeing that the suffering you feel comes from the story you tell yourself, not the event itself. Let's say someone criticizes your work in public. The event is just words. The overthinking mind, however, immediately tells a story. This is a nightmare. My career is over. Everyone thinks I'm a fraud. That story, that judgment, is what creates the panic. The Stoic practice is to strip the judgment away and see the objective facts. A person stated a negative opinion about my work. That's it. It's not a disaster, it's information. From that neutral place, you can decide what to do. Is the criticism valid? If so, learn from it. If not, throw it out. The pain was never in their words, it was in the story you told yourself about them. And you have the power to change that story. So much of overthinking is just renting space in our heads to two things: regret about the past and fear of the future. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that both are illusions. The only thing that's real is right now. He wrote, "Each of us lives only now, this brief instant. The rest has been lived already, or is impossible to see." This idea, what we now call mindfulness, was a huge part of Stoic philosophy. They knew that anxiety lives in the future and regret lives in the past. Peace can only be found here and now. To keep himself grounded, Marcus used a technique called memento mori, which means, remember you will die. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't supposed to be dark or morbid, it's a tool for focus. If you knew your time was short, would you waste this moment worrying about something that might not happen? Or would you focus on doing the task in front of you with everything you've got? Practically speaking, this just means paying attention. When you're eating, just eat. When you're talking to someone, really listen. When you're working, give it your full focus as if it were the last thing you'll ever do. When your mind drifts to worries or regrets, just gently bring it back. Overthinking can't survive in a mind that's fully engaged with the present. When we're stuck overthinking, our problems can feel gigantic, like they're the center of the universe. We completely lose perspective. Marcus Aurelius had a cure for this. He practiced taking the view from above. He would meditate on the sheer vastness of the universe to shrink his problems down to their actual size. He wrote about looking down on the world as if from space, seeing all the people scurrying around, the armies marching, the farms growing, the births and the deaths. Then he'd zoom out even further, thinking about the infinity of past and future, a chasm of time so vast that our personal anxieties look like a tiny speck of dust. This isn't about making your problems seem invalid, it's about giving them perspective. The next time you're agonizing over an awkward social moment or a work deadline, try it. Picture yourself in your room, then your city, then your country. Zoom out until the Earth is just a tiny blue dot in the silence of space. Think about the billions of years that came before you and the billions that will come after. From that cosmic view, does that embarrassing thing you said last week really matter? Is that email you're terrified to send really the end of the world? Almost always, the answer is a resounding no. This exercise breaks the cycle of self-importance that fuels so much of our anxiety. It reminds us we're a small part of the huge, amazing story. Let's be honest, a huge amount of our mental energy is spent worrying about what other people think. We want their approval, and we're terrified of their judgment. Marcus Aurelius saw this as one of the biggest sources of anxiety and a complete waste of our short time here. He wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." That one hits hard. We know our own intentions and our own character, yet we give more weight to the opinions of people who don't know half our story. So, what's the Stoic fix? Turn your focus inward. Instead of asking, "What will they think of me?" ask yourself, "Am I doing the right thing? Am I being a good person?" The only judgment that really matters is your own, measured against your own values. The opinions of others are outside your control, and because of that, they shouldn't be your concern. If you find yourself stuck overthinking a decision because you're scared of being judged, just remember this: you can't please everyone. No matter what you do, somebody somewhere won't like it. So your only logical option is to act based on your own principles. Live a life you're proud of, and let other people think whatever they want. Their thoughts are their problem, not yours. This final strategy might be the most practical one of all. It's the whole reason we can even read the meditations today. Journaling. Marcus Aurelius didn't just let anxious thoughts bounce around in his skull. He dragged them out and put them on paper. Overthinking thrives in the dark, when your fears are just vague, undefined monsters. Journaling is like turning on the lights. It forces you to take those chaotic feelings and shape them into words and sentences. Just the act of doing that can make them seem smaller and way more manageable. When you're trapped in an overthinking loop, grab a notebook and write down exactly what's bothering you. Don't filter it, just get it out. Once it's on the page, you can start using the tools we've talked about. Ask yourself, what part of this can I control? And what part can't I? What are the cold, hard facts here? And what is the negative story I'm adding? If I could only focus on this present moment, what would I do right now? This turns you from a victim of your thoughts into an observer of them. You're no longer drowning in anxiety. You're dissecting it. Marcus used his journal to challenge his own thoughts and bring order to his mind. And you can do the exact same thing. These lessons, created under the pressure of running an empire 2,000 years ago, aren't just interesting history. They are a timeless, practical guide for taking back your mind from anxiety. The power isn't out there in the world. It's inside you. So, which one of these strategies are you going to try first? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And for more practical wisdom like this, make sure to like and subscribe. The cure for overthinking isn't to think harder, it's to think differently. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that our mind is a fortress, and we can retreat into it to find peace no matter what's going on outside. By focusing on what you control, questioning your judgments, living in the now, seeing the big picture, ignoring outside opinions, and getting your thoughts on paper, you can break the cycle. You don't need to be a Roman emperor to use these tools. You just have to be a person who has decided they're done being a prisoner of their own thoughts. Realize this and you will find strength,